If we take a look at the Star Wars sequel trilogy, I think it's pretty safe to say that one of the most mysterious characters has got to be the Knights of Ren. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, the Knights of Ren, we only got a short glimpse of them in Episode 7, The Force Awakens. These are a group of characters that follow in Kylo Ren's path, and it's one of the reasons as to why I really am fascinated about them, is because of their connection to one of the main villains in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with one of the set designs that will involve Adam Driver and a pair of extras. Now, Adam Driver and 6 extras are said to be dressed as the Knights of Ren, and are said to film a sequence that will require many stunts and wire work. It's described as a scene in which Kylo and his knights will slaughter an entire village during a thunderstorm in search for something valuable. The set design is described as having many huts that will be set on fire, with the knights using primitive weapons against the other extras playing the villagers being slaughtered. Another sequence will involve Kylo interrogating a villager with his helmet on. It's said that the extra will be instructed to run away from Adam Driver in the sequence, where Kylo eventually kills him. So, I really want to go over a couple of things about this and as to why I believe that this most certainly is an extension of the flashback and or flash forward in Episode 7. Now, if you guys actually do take a look in The Force Awakens, that's the only time that we do get to see the Knights, is of course in that little snippet of footage within that vision that Rey is actually going through. So if we look past all of this, there are a couple of reasons that really do stand out to me and make me believe that this is indeed a sequence that extends of what we already saw in The Force Awakens. Now, number one, the mention of a thunderstorm taking place. If you look at Episode 7, you do see lightning, you see rain, you hear thunder. Everything is pretty much matching up at this point. The other thing being, of course, is how Kylo Ren is actually wearing the mask in this sequence, and is actually involving a sequence in which he's interrogating one of the villagers. Now, these villagers are eventually run away from Kylo Ren, portrayed by Adam Driver. They eventually run away from him and are killed. They're murdered by Kylo. Now, if you look at The Force Awakens, we see a similar thing there, where we do see Kylo Ren using his lightsaber and pretty much stabbing it through his abdomen, killing him instantaneously. And you do see a lot of bodies around Kylo and his knights. Now, the last thing being is how the Knights of Ren are using their primitive weapons to kill and slaughter the villagers. If you look in The Force Awakens, you also see them wielding the primitive weapons like axes, spears, and stuff like that. So, what's this valuable thing that they are in search for? What are they really looking for in Episode 9? Now, let's take it for, two different ways now. Let's say if we look at this in the form of present day within Episode 9. Now, the things that they could be looking for are, of course, maybe Jedi relics or Sith relics, or maybe even lightsabers for his knights to use in order to pretty much, become a bigger threat to the Resistance and whoever stands in their way. The other thing is, if this is set in the form of a flashback and a true extension of what we saw in Episode 7, the valuable piece that they could be looking for is indeed the Skywalker lightsaber, right? We've been hearing about these different visions and flashbacks for the character of Maz Kanata, showing us that she actually witnessed Kylo and the Knights slaughtering a village and villagers. So it could absolutely have a connection to Maz Kanata for sure, for all we know. An original idea for The Force Awakens, by the way, that never made it into the final cut of the movie. So I want to go over as to why the Knights here seem pretty relentless. I mean, these Knights of Ren, they are following in Kylo Ren's path, and they are likely to be Luke Skywalker's ex-Jedi students. It's been heavily implied before in the past that they are Force sensitive, and that at least one of the characters has a huge connection to the character of Luke Skywalker. So, I think it's pretty safe to say that these characters are indeed Luke's ex-Jedi students. I think that piece of dialogue in Episode 8 was told to the audience for a specific reason, when Luke says, he slaughtered the rest, and he also took a handful of his students. So, With that being said, if they truly are and are connected to Luke Skywalker, that also makes the Knights of Ren a whole lot more powerful than we already assumed. So, with episode 9 getting closer to the end of filming, they're doing all of these major sequences for, of course, the third act and some reshoots for the second act of the movie in order to pretty much complete principal photography entirely before they head into post-production. Now, we should be getting that title reveal very soon. I mean, it's gonna drop in the very near future. It's gonna tell us the overall plot, the general actual story of the movie, and give us an idea of the direction that J.J. Abrams is going to take this movie in for the audience. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear them moans again.